Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today is June the 9th, 2026. Bear with me, people. I am dealing with allergies again, but I wanted to come on here to try to give you my thoughts on Karmelo Anthony situation, actions, trial, and case. And before I start my video, if you're a person that like bigotry and hypocrisy videos, meaning that they're going to play a race card, this video is not for you. I'm going to give it to you 100% Bible. And if you don't want godly wisdom, this video, I promise you, is not for you. Because I am an African American man, I'm not going to take sides from neither party. Austin Metcalf lost his life. We have a man, young man, that had a bright future. Life can go down the drain by people that does not look at biblical laws and judgment. I want to take my time. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to stay subscribed to me. This is not a clickbait channel. All right. I'm going to give you my analysis based on the information that I've gathered. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back and correct myself. But based on the information that I have right now, is what I'm going to base my analysis on. Okay. Remember, I'm not a trial lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not no scholar. I'm not no professor. I'm a man of God. And I give you perfect wisdom from the Bible. If you're a person that does not live off of godly principles, this video is not for you. Click off the video. It's not for you. All right. When I see cases like this, the first thing comes to my mind: who raised you? As we know today, God is being excluded in the family home today. And if they say they believe in God, these are fakers, play actors, and pretenders, and hypocrites. Especially, you will be able to understand when people base this situation off of color. Now, I don't want to contradict myself, so I want to give it to you 100. All right. Satan has the whole world judging, mistreating, being biased, abusing people by color. And we do have violence and corruption against the same race. This is the devil's confusion. So let's stick with that. This is a black and a white individuals. They both have families that are grieving. They both have families that are in anguish. They both have families where they are upset. They are devastated. So depending on how you were raised as an African American person, the first thing gonna come to your mind is this white supremacy. Black Lives Matter. And the other thing is going to come to your mind is slavery. Look how they do us. What was wrong with that boy being up under that tent? So that is not going to give a fair judgment when we look at it on a worldly aspect. Because as we do know, keep in mind that I am aware that in the United States of America is what I've experienced, because I have not been overseas. I had brothers that went over there. Both of them had tours over there in Germany. They said they loved it. But in the United States of America, we know that African American people are always pretty much going to be looked down on. Follow me? I want to take you people somewhere. You're probably saying, get to the point. Wait a minute. We don't want to rush through this here. Because what I'm trying to teach you is don't go down this road, what I'm getting ready to point out to you, because this is why I'm bringing up that African American people, people of color, are always going to be mistreated in this world, because this is the devil system. This is not this, what they call it, systematic racism. No. This is the devil system. He got you confused. All right. Let's look at the upbringing. Let's first start with Austin Metcalf. Did his parents raise him as a kid up with this biasness and say, hey, listen, you know those dark colored people, those ninjas? I don't want you going out here dating no African American ninja. Okay? And if you bring them to our house, we're going to disown you. And I don't want you hanging around them ninjas. A lot of things goes on behind closed doors. Now, let's look at Karmelo Anthony's upbringing. Did his parents teach him about slavery and put on his mind a high awareness that when you go out in the world? I kind of don't think so, because for him to go into that tent, and probably because I went to a predominantly white school, and I'll tell you why before I tell you about Karmelo. That's why I have a high awareness that I don't think he was raised that way. Okay, so follow me. When we were growing up in the ghetto, when my mother met a military man, she wanted to move into the country, just the outer skirts of the city. And we told our mom we didn't want to go to this here all-white school. And she said she pulled us out of these here predominantly black schools because the teachers was going to probably pass you because they like you and they know what they have gone through, their ancestors. And she said she don't want us to be dummies. She wanted us to go to an all-white school. She said, I understand you're going to probably feel uncomfortable, but I want you to go to this school and learn something. So if you're failing and these other white kids see that you're failing, then you're probably going to be embarrassed and start studying. So that was my mother's tactic, that she did not want us to go to an all-black school and just be in there flipping the pencil, playing around, and black teachers are just getting paid and not really making you learn. That was in that era when we was in our early 70s and stuff of that nature. So that's what we did. And I want to sit up here and tell you people what I learned going to a predominantly white school. It did not change my character. We did end up dealing with some issues. My mother was transparent and she was proactive. She did come up there to the school when they made it seem like that they were doing some things against African Americans, because when we were growing up, they had a code to where they didn't want you to wear facial hair. If you started growing a beard, start showing facial hair early on, they would make the African Americans and Hispanics shave, but let the Caucasian guys have old thick beards and stuff, and said that they had skin irritations. They couldn't shave. So we were on the news and everything. So my mother came up there and pursued that. That's what we pretty much dealt with. But all in all, I played basketball all 4 years. I even played when I was in junior high. I went to a predominantly, when she pulled us out of this, a predominantly black school. So I left in the 7th grade. I spent 2 years at a junior high school, predominantly all white. And I also went to a high school, predominantly all white. And not only that, I worked for a company for 30 years, predominantly all white. All right, listen to me, people. You can't get around it, okay? They're the ones that built these companies. They're the ones that have assets, and where they got companies and they built it all for the good old boy system. So if you want a good job, that's another video. Anyway, I had a career and I successfully retired, but I had some trials I went through. All right, so let's look at Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo Anthony seemed to me that he did not have an issue with going around Caucasian people. Because if you look at the video, it showed that, I guess it was a group of white guys that he was sitting under the tent, and he knew one. Here's the thing I want to point out before I go further into the video. When I had Caucasian friends, I experienced this on my job when we would have to drive in a truck out in the field. They would seem like they would be cool with you one-on-one because they had to work with you. But when they were around another group of other Caucasian white guys, they would seem like they were standoffish and biased because why? They felt singled out. They wanted to fit in, and they didn't want to be disowned. Like, you cool with this black guy? So I noticed that. And I used to ask some of them, hey, how come when you around your buddies, you act like you don't know me? Oh, no, D, it's not like that. I knew it was, but I didn't say nothing. Okay? As long as he respected me, I kind of knew what he was up against. And I've dealt with a bunch of them like that they will be cool with me, respectful with me when it's one-on-one. But then when they would get with their group of friends, they wouldn't even talk to me. Made it seem like, we didn't get close and get personal in the truck. Keep that in mind. If Karmelo Anthony went to this tent, and I heard some rumors that it was raining outside. It was a track meet. All right. I made a video in regards to saying, what was this Austin Metcalf's issue that if it was raining? Keep that in mind, if it was raining. And he also knew another person, but Karmelo Anthony went to another school, but they were all at a track meet, and so he went over there to speak to another friend. Here's what I want to make you understand, people, about the approach. And this is the reason why that I'm going to give you 100% a godly view. If Austin Metcalf has been raised in a Christian home with Christian values, that means he wasn't going to be biased, and he wasn't going to show entitlement, and he wasn't going to be trying to have an ego and pride in front of his friends, his colleagues. Here's the approach. Because the Bible says, seek the best for one another. He comes over there, you kind of doing the observation, and you can kind of see that, oh, that's why he's over here. He knows this guy. You let him talk. If it's raining outside, and if the rain stops, this is how you approach people if you're not a white supremacy and you have been raised corrupt. Excuse me, sir, what is your name? Karmelo Anthony. Mr. Anthony, can you please give us some privacy? Because we're getting ready to speak about some track meet tactics, and we don't want you over here under this tent right now. The rain has stopped. So I know you know Jimmy right here, but Jimmy, can you give him a quarter and y'all can call each other later? All right, cool. But it was his approach. And I'm going to show you Karmelo Anthony's response. Because it kind of gave me some confusion on how they were raised. Now watch this. Hey, dude, you don't belong over here. and initiate the removal. Listen to me. Initiated the removal. Softly said, hey, you don't belong over here. Karmelo Anthony's response is, don't touch me or you will see. Now listen to me. Was Austin Metcalf speaking with entitlement and ego and biasness? Because his approach was bad. Okay? And did Karmelo Anthony respond with fear and intimidation or ego? I'm going to give you people a rundown what I experienced. And I could be in prison right now, or just like this young man that's deleted. So let me give you a rundown, and I'll show you what Karmelo Anthony should have did also, and what this person should have did. All right. You see, I first want to tell the parents this scripture. And both parents need to hear this scripture. But if they don't believe in Christ, this situation is not going to set the tone. Okay? The reason why it's not going to set the tone is because they have left God. You have two people. One is in the ground and one is facing life in prison. I told you people, the thief only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's exactly what he did. He destroyed these two guys, young guys, lives, and destroyed these families. They're devastated. But when I start speaking about God, this is what people go, oh Lord, and click off the video, and they don't want to learn from it. Because why? God says we live in an ungodly, lawless world. So the court system is going to play bigotry and hypocrisy. And this young man is probably going to prison. Okay? So, why? Because of his reaction. That's why. I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, if he had been taught this scripture, meaning that they would have gave him some godly wisdom, not world wisdom, not tell him about white supremacy in a fact to where he's going to be in fear or feel intimidated, because it reminds them of slavery, because that's what families do. They give them a breakdown about slavery, but they won't give them a breakdown about Bible. In the book of Proverbs 13:24, it says, if you spare the rod to your child, you hate your child. Why does it say you hate your child? Because this scripture is saying correction and knowledge is love and power. So don't spoil your child, making them think they are right without Christian values and morals. That's what went on right here. Okay? Meaning you spoil your child because they are successful in high school, they got good grades, and they getting ready to do sports, they finna get a degree, and you don't tell them the truth about God. Here's what I want to tell you the truth about God, what should have took place. If they would have both seek the best for one another, he wouldn't be in the ground, and this guy wouldn't be on his way to prison. Why? Because I'm going to share something with you people, and you may not agree. Okay. Did he react out of fear? I believe so. Did he react out of intimidation? I believe so. And you're probably saying, well, what do you mean when you say fear? Fear means he's been taught inferior. Inferior means feeling lower than the group he sat with. That means that when we work in a predominantly Caucasian environment, they make you feel like you are lesser than them. That's the same thing what's going on in the world, that we are disdained, discorded, as if they tell us with their body language, go back to Africa. Okay? And when we look back at slavery, it gives us inferior because we see how they slaughtered families. Let's fast forward. Why I say I believe he had fear and intimidation in him, which is Karmelo Anthony. And that's what's going on in the world today with most black people when they go on jobs and they feel like they're working around a large group of Caucasian people and they don't make you feel welcome. It's the same thing with Hispanic people. They don't make you feel welcome. But in this case, these two were on a track meet field, okay? And just like this guy, instead of him having common sense to say it's raining outside, if that's a fact, and he had a friend over there, if that's a fact, to let them enter, conversate a little bit, okay? Because it's not like you can just tell him in a appropriate way, hey, excuse me, Mr. Anthony, nice to meet you, sir. My name is Austin Metcalf, and I'm one of the track meet guys over here, one of the crew leaders. Do you mind giving us a little privacy? Because we're getting ready to speak about what's going to take place when the track meet start. That's just being civilized, people. It's being civilized. Treat others in the way you would want to be treated, but they don't do that. They treat us like scum. Okay? So I guarantee you, Karmelo Anthony was taught just like me how and what to expect when we go out in the world. Why? Because here's another awareness that Mr. Karmelo Anthony probably have seen the news and his family. So it's not like he reacted off of an impulse of saying, I thought they was going to jump on me. We have that in us, but we need God. Let me show you what he did and probably why he had this fear in him. And I'm going to give you people a breakdown what he should have did. Okay? Because I'm trying to teach you, you're going to face these type of situations again. Okay? And I'm going to give you an update on something that you probably, I'm going to refresh your memory on something that happened. Okay. Think about in Mississippi. Remember a guy named Rasheem Carter. He called his mom and told his mom that if something happened to him, look into his boss. It seems like he was carpooling with a Caucasian guy they had worked out of their area, meaning I think they traveled to another city in Mississippi to go work at this factory or something, okay? Him and this guy got into it. They were carpooling to go work at this company. And I guess he got into it with his boss, and he called his mom and said that if anything happened to him, look into his boss. He made it to the chief police officer office and told him that it was a group of Caucasian white guys chasing him, and he felt like his life was in danger. And the chief police officer told him he couldn't help him. Sent him back out there on his way. The guy did not have transportation. He was walking, running for his life. A deer camera video showed this man in the wilderness without a shirt on and had a piece of log ready to defend himself, hiding in the woods, and later on, they found his body dismembered. Body parts everywhere. So do you understand in this world today how African American people with this kind of stuff, awareness, is fearing for their lives? It's not just because the back days of slavery. They have modern day slavery today. But they're not going to play this in court to show that, well, look what's going on in America. They're going to judge you by case, but look at the culture. That's why I say they're going to play bigotry and hypocrisy. But God looks at the big picture. He look at the big picture. That it is a culture that is biased against another culture. And it's history that's showing you that African American people have been slaughtered up to this day, assassinated up to this day. When we look at Rasheem Carter, Sonia Macy, a whole lot of them. I'm just trying to give you some names to make you understand. George Floyd, Tyree Nichols, black on black, and here we got an African American guy and a Caucasian guy. When is the culture going to change? Well, it's not, because why? They exclude God. And just like what happened when you had a black on black female open up the door for another ungrateful female and said you could at least say thank you, and pursued this young lady and got deleted. Well, the Bible tells us don't hate the person, hate their ways. And if this young lady would have walked away, in these cases, we don't know. I can give you a rundown. This young man, I guarantee you, is just like Karmelo Anthony, under that tent with a group of white people. Rasheen Carter, all by himself. Now, let me show you people what I experienced with Rasheen Carter and kind of like Karmelo Anthony. All right, on the job that I retired for. I gave you a rundown in regards to when I first started this company. I was 2 weeks in. I was the only black person on a 10-man crew. Consider me that one person on that crew. And we were working out in the field, working out in the city, okay? And they were trying to intimidate me, disrespecting me, calling me out my name, telling me they're going to slap my hard head off my head, take my tools off my waist and throw them in the woods and make me go get them, and just talking to me like garbage. Get your A over here, and things of that nature. Thought of somebody in my door. So here's the thing that I want to let you people know. Because how I was taught and what I saw coming up, I was in an area that they didn't know that my apartment was probably maybe 5 miles away. And I called a girlfriend at the time. We were dating at the time. I ended up marrying her later, but I called and told her, hey, bring my 40 Glide up here. And that's what I was going to do. Because I felt intimidated and I felt fear that these guys was going to get away with jumping on me and make me submit to their abuse. I felt fear. That's not the way to go today. The same thing when I told you people that I socked another Caucasian guy in the chest. Had I not had this here other African-American guy, I would have lost my job. So God has been with me. I could have been in prison on the first incident. I could have lost my job or been charged for assaulting somebody. Okay? So where am I at today with being intimidated and being in fear of Caucasian people? It's not just Caucasian people. Where I am today is that I've been mistreated by the same race. I've been mistreated by wives. I've been mistreated by family members. Yes. So how do you handle it? I'll tell you how you handle it. Okay. Did he react out of fear as if his life was being threatened by an object? Did Austin Metcalf pull out an object or, for abuse, whether a gun, a bat, or something? Or physical attack? Did he attack him with aggression? Or did he threaten him with words? From what I'm seeing, no. Okay? I wasn't there. But the thing that comes to my mind, was he aggressively talking? Because they said that he softly pushed him away. But was he aggressively? When you're aggressively talking to somebody, you bring the bar up, you put more fuel to the fire. Because aggression also can make a person react. If you don't know God. That's my point. I don't want to miss that. If you don't know God, just like this young lady, you can at least say thank you with aggression. If she would have just said, oh my goodness, this girl couldn't even say thank you. So what sparked it was the aggression. Listen what God tells us in the Bible, and you probably haven't read it. Do not be quick to anger. Anger brings wrath. What's wrath? You may get deleted. See, you got to understand the intimidation is just like what I want to make you people about intimidation and fear. See, this is how Satan uses it, because God didn't give us a spirit of fear. Satan gives you a spirit of fear. And when you have a spiritual awakening from God, he gives you a courageous spirit and he gives you a humility spirit. Okay, so watch this here. Intimidation is to make you get out of character, to make you do what they want. Let's look at the intimidation from a cop. And a cop can be really doing his job, but he's just totally dry and straight to the point. He walks up to your vehicle. Give me your registration and your license. Sir, what was I pulled over? Caught you speeding in a zone of 50 miles per hour. I clocked you at 70. God, I mean, you can at least say, how you doing, sir? That aggression, he wants you to get out of character. Because why? He probably pulled you over by racial profile also. Then he said, I got this ninja. He's speeding. And then probably didn't let 4 other Caucasian people pass him up. So you have to be mindful to think, okay, keep it cool. He don't have to be your friend. He is doing his job, and he's doing it with aggression because he wants you to get out of character. Why? So he can either delete you and put you behind bars for resisting his commands. That's how they get you. So when we talk about same thing on jobs, they got me out of character. That's what they want to do. They know that you are inferior. It's just like a dog. When a dog see you out in the wilderness, that dog and an animal, when you ride a horse, they can detect if you have fear and you'll buck you right off that horse. Same thing with a dog. That dog can sense that you fear him and he's coming after you. The same thing with human beings. They can detect when you fear them. Okay? So just stay calm. All right? So what I learned about having a white friend, this is another thing. When he went under that tent, was it a Caucasian guy? Because I've experienced this here. They can be friends with you one-on-one while you're in that truck. When he went to that tent, because the guy has testified that he didn't really shove Karmelo Anthony. They said his friend testified, and that's a good key point, that his friend said that Austin Metcalf didn't really shove him. He just kind of pushed him out from away from the tent. And that's when Karmelo Anthony pulled out the knife and stabbed him in the chest and deleted him. Okay? So that's why I'm asking you people, was it out of fear? I believe it was out of fear and intimidation. See, something I want to make you people understand why I say that. I want to make sure I got my notes right. If he did it off of a fleshly impulse, okay? If he reacted out of a fleshly impulse, inferior, feeling lower than the group he sat with, Satan got him. Because if he cannot prove that this person threatened him with an object by word of mouth or a physical attack, I mean, he had to do a quick thinking where he grabbed him or something. He just went in his, and got that knife on an impulse. And this is what's happening in the world today where people make bad decisions. I made bad decisions like that. So when we walk with Christ, you people going to probably hate when I tell you this here. Here's my analysis. You're probably saying, well, D, what should he have done? I'm going to tell you what he should have done. And then I'm going to give you some situations that I've been in. I told you, when God get him, he get him good. And this man would not be sitting in a court where they're getting ready to judge him unfairly. Because why? They're not going to look at the moral aspect of how the approach was. They don't look at that. All they looking for is, was this man's life being threatened? They're not going to look like what I'm looking at. The moral aspect, how God looks at it. And this is the reason why I'm going to tell you what I do today. Because God looks at the moral aspect. Okay? And he wants us to walk in humility. Jesus Christ was approached many times. And they tried to check him, slander him, mock him. Many times he didn't argue with him. He walked away. And you probably say, no, I ain't walking away. You can live another day. You can live another day. So follow me. Walk away even if you feel spiritually defeated, embarrassed, or wrong. You can feel like they punked you. Walk away. I promise you. It's the best thing to do. If this person did not oppose a threat to you and you try to explain yourself, just go ahead and walk away. If he would have walked away knowing that this person is biased and this person treated him with entitlement, this person let his ego get into him, but you have to have Christ in you. And let me show you when you got Christ in you, and I'm going to let you people go. See, I had a brother that was living. And I gave my brother, when he fell down, and I know my brother has jumped on me, my oldest brother. And when he fell down and lost everything, I went out and helped him because I had the money and gave him $1,700 to try to keep his apartment, be able to get some food and an Uber. My brother didn't want to have nothing to do with me after I gave him that money, and especially when he got on his feet. Should I have went and approached him and say, you can at least show some gratitude, some empathy, and get on him? No. Let me tell you why. God said when you give something to somebody from the pureness of your heart, you give it to him and don't expect anything in return. You gave it to him. But understand this here. When the Bible says cling to what is good and hate what is evil, God said don't hate the person, hate their ways. So I saw that my brother was ungrateful. I hated his ways. If I would have hated him, I would have did just like what Karmelo Anthony would have did. What he did. Go over there and say, hey man, why haven't you called me? And pick an argument with him. And if he didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, boom, 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 boom. What would that would have proved to him? Okay? But guess what? Since I walked away in humility, took the abuse, said to myself, I set boundaries. I'll never help him again. He was still living. When he got his fingers cut off, I called him and showed him humility. Hey man, I heard you got your fingers cut off on your job. You want me to come see you? No, don't come over here. My apartment is dirty. He got on his feet, so he didn't need me no more. He's no longer with us. I told you, when God get him, he'll get him good. Let's move down the list. Just like this neighbor, I guarantee you, if you're an ungodly person, I hired this man because he was a carpenter, Hispanic man. Came in my house and took my kitchen loose. I wanted him to put me some granite and backsplash in my kitchen. The man, me and him discussed, and we went half to replace a private fence that splits our yards. He took some of the fence out, and the way it was built when I first bought my home, and he still charged me the price as if the piece that he took out was still there. I approached him about it. I said, hey man, you need to lower the price. Every time I approached him about it, he argued with me. Then he started acting faulty in my house, giving me the runaround and wouldn't come back and put my kitchen together. So I had to tell him, hey man, you fired. But guess what, people? Here's where humility comes in. I texted him, and God said, if your brother sinned against you, my wife was here, and told him, hey man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself than sit up here and charge me this price and didn't put my kitchen back together. He approached me and texted me first and told me, well, if you think I burned you, just take $300 off the top. So he came on my porch as I was getting ready to pay him and started disrespecting. I said, man, you get your ass off my porch. I'm going to get off your porch. Just pay me. So when I paid him, I paid this man $3,600 and he didn't finish my kitchen. Now let's pause. Let's pause. What would you have done? I know some of y'all saying, hell no, I wouldn't have paid him. I want you to get this, okay? All right. What do you think would have taken place if I hadn't paid him at all? This man is lost, ungodly, and he's going to retaliate. Because in his reprobate mind, he replaced the fence, but he was over here manipulating my kitchen, so I'm going to have problems out of him living next door. It's going to be a domestic dispute. So the best thing to do, and you people probably saying, oh, no, I'm not going to wait on God. No, bro, so something wrong with you. Well, if something wrong with me, I paid him. And I prophesied. I said, honey, my wife was standing right there. I said, this man just cursed his house. 5 years went by. Long story short, this man got sick suddenly and he's no longer with us. Why? Because he came over here with intent to manipulate me, because in the beginning when we first moved here in 2006, I checked him for blocking my mailbox, and the post office supervisor came over here and checked him also. He didn't like that. So I still tried to be friendly neighbor and thought we were good. Hi, neighbor. But it came to a point where he stopped speaking to me. And then we started speaking again. So I said, hey, man, you're a carpenter, right? Oh, yeah. I said, can you come over here, man? We bought a new stove. And before I even let him start working on my kitchen, I said, the counter thing, it was a flat top. It's too small, so I bought the stove a little bit too big. So he came over and cut it. I said, what do I owe you? Yeah, you don't know me. You don't owe me nothing, brother. Don't worry about it, brother. I said, okay. Hey, man, I can redo your kitchen, and manipulated me. So I hired him. And that's how that ended. He didn't know what house he came in, because you got to understand, I'm chosen by God. So God said, be careful who you may entertain. You may be entertaining one of God's angels and don't know it. And he says, touch not my anointed ones and do no harm to my prophets. The same thing I told you people about the female that I was married to before this one. She was on demon time. What do you men do? You take matters in your own hands and beat the brakes off of her and end up getting an assault charge, a felony, go to jail, and you're incarcerated. The demon in her wants me to get out of character. And guess what? I did my best to stay away from this woman in the same house and went to work and still tried to pay my bills. And this lady disrespected me every chance she got. And she's no longer with us. Are you with me? See, that's what humility, God said, if you stay calm and stay silent, just do your part and step back. If you get in my way, I'm going to strike you down with them. So I gets out of God's way. See? So I'm trying to teach you, just like the one I'm with right now. She turns it up. And you people thinking that you can chastise a female or poison your husband and you're going to get away with it. And this is what's going on in the world, that people take matters in their own hands. You don't want to walk away. Listen, I am being nailed to the cross as I'm speaking in this house. I still come on this video and try to help someone that has subscribed to my channel. Don't go down this road. Walk away. If your wife, if your husband, I'm not sitting up here telling you to take the abuse. If your life is being threatened, God said, come out from among them. But if my wife right now is causing me grief, financial setbacks, I have to make a decision. But if it's not that severe, I pray, I throw it at God's feet, and she gonna get a surprise. Why? Because as you can see, I'm a man of God. I'm preaching, teaching, and prophesying. So why is it that if my wife sees that I'm trying to teach and she's disrespecting me, this is what she's doing? The same thing the other one's doing. Denying God's power. If I'm teaching, it's called blasphemy. That means that if she was not being taught, that means that God will have mercy and grace on her because she's doing it out of ignorance. But God said it would be better for you not to know the truth, for when you hear it, you turn around and you ignore it and you still on demon time. Because why? You don't want to let God in. It's mocking God as if he can't change you. So you repeatedly keep disrespecting me. And I done told this wife that I'm with today. That's what this other one did. Kept on disrespecting me. Kept on disrespecting me. Kept on disrespecting me. Until she got stage 4 breast cancer. Because why? And I'm going to let you people go. If you don't want to walk away with humility, guess what? I told you people. The devil, the thief, only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And if you keep on trying to take matters in your own hands, I told you people, the wages of sin is death. What is my final analysis about this case? It's just like people thought that Derek Chauvin was going to get off because he was considered as a white supremacy. This case is in God's hands. And the world was shocked, but we don't get George Floyd back. George Floyd needed a rehab. He was a drug addicted person. A peace officer is supposed to be a peace officer to put you behind bars, to make sure that you're not in harm's way. If you violated the law, lock you up and make you pay the consequences. But instead, he deleted them. Okay? And he got charged for it. And the world was surprised. Okay? Same thing with this man that took out Sonia Massey. Listen, the family was so upset and they grieving. But guess what? They didn't retaliate. Okay? This man is in jail right now sick. That's what the news is saying, that he got some real serious health problems. But Sonia Massey needed some help. She had allowed herself to be mentally disturbed by demons, and she shouldn't have been left by herself, and she still would have been with us. I told you people, and I'm going to let you go. The book of Proverbs 13:24, you better take it seriously. That if you spare the rod to your children, then you will lose your children. This guy's in the ground, and this one probably going to prison. I told you people that God is not mocked. Galatians 6:7. He says, be not deceived, that my word, my precepts, my perfect wisdom will not be set aside and insulted. Again, the wages of sin is death, and death is inevitable if you don't know Jesus Christ. And I'm out.